What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 9 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Count Noctilus Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, once again we had a number of battles underway, or had a number of battles done, whatever. This is a great start. And we have begun to recruit various new armies. The Flying Army, the Ghostly Army, the Animated Hulk Army over here, and we got a couple more hopefully to be on the way shortly. Just got to be careful with our income, as it is going to be dropping if we're not careful. And minus 3.3k per turn already, probably going to be about minus 6k next turn, so definitely in dangerous waters, as it were. Anyway, the important thing we acquired last episode was the first of the lost sea shanties, though I am a little bit concerned by the fact that we were able to end the turn and we went past Firon Wavemaker, but Firon Wavemaker did not seem to spawn. I think, you know, we'll give it maybe one more turn, and if it doesn't work, what we'll do is we'll sell off some infamy to try to get below Firon Wavemaker, Slaneshi Giggle, and then maybe overtake him again. And then maybe that'll activate that army, because it would be a real shame not to get all the sea shanties up and running, because it's a big part of the Vampire Coast. But anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, it looks like there's still a lot of moves to be made, at the very least with armies, so let's get started on it. Now, Noctilus, I was originally thinking we go immediately for Toran Rock and set up the Vampire Cove there, or the Pirate Cove, but there is a piece of 8 out here. And maybe we should go for that first. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we go for first. On the other hand, we could probably go through the land here and then go to this port and then sail out for the piece of 8 afterwards. That would work too, and this is right in our range. Alright, let's see if we can land here. If we can, we'll do it, and if we can't, then we won't. That'll be the deciding factor, I suppose. I wonder if we can spot Geld here. I would like to get his defeat trait. Bonus armor for pretty much everything in this army would be nice. He's got 7 settlements, which isn't a crazy amount, so he might very well be near here. He's also allied with the Lore Masters, but I don't think we care about that, and we can just freely declare war on him, which we shall do. Let's declare war on you, sir. Call the 1,000 Maws to help? Yeah, why not? At this point, they're probably not going to say no, because we've drawn them into like a billion wars, so there is that. Anyway, let's see. Can you land? You cannot land. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. So we might actually move past this and then go back to it, or even send Maddie around to grab this. Instead, you can go into flagship expansion and keep traveling. And getting some of your mana reserves back up and running, I guess, so silver linings and all of that. Ariane stand, you... Well, there is this little rebellious force here, but I think the auto-resolve, even if it's a small force, the auto-resolve would probably screw us over on that, so let's not waste our time with it and head directly to Soleil. I'm hoping these guys don't run away, and will be here to fight us. Let's see. It looks like they will. Valiant defeat, you say. I'm almost tempted to besiege these guys and then allow this guy to probably move in and attack us with the rest of them. Might work out decently for us. On the other hand, though, I noticed that he's got a fairly good garrison in Dasson, and we still have to fight that one as well, so maybe we just fight this one here. Alright, fair enough. You guys. Vampire Fleet Captains, you know what we probably should do? Yes, there is still magics and stuff that we want to get, but we do have Raise Your Cutlasses, which is the important thing. Let's get Tenacity for the upkeep reductions. Our income is in a horrific state right now, so let's do that. A little bit less upkeep. And what about you? You're definitely going to get Lucky Spyglass, and then we can put, I guess, 2 points in Tenacity right after. Alright, that's a little bit better income-wise. We'll try to do that for every hero and every army now. I haven't really been focusing it because of the need for other points, but yeah. Anyway, let's do this fight. It is a minor settlement by the looks of it, so we'll have to work our way through, which is going to be pretty interesting and not something that this army has done too much of. Let's see if it does it well here. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Aranan stand back at it again, and we are facing off against, admittedly, a lot of Norscans, and some of them are going to be a fairly difficult fight for us. Marauder Berserkers, 77 melee attack at 35 melee defense, and then of course they'll have that Berserk ability, which gives them another 20 melee attack, putting them up to 97, as well as an additional 20% physical resistance, putting them up to 40%. Plenty of missile resistance as well between Weather the Storm and that physical resistance in combination. Lots of stuff to be concerned about is what I'm getting at. Anyway, as usual, we're going to start off the battle with that artillery bombardment. All the carronades, in fact, will focus down this one unit of trolls, and we'll see how much damage we can do to it before they approach. We can also see the effect of the full or black powder aplenty, putting up the regular carronades to 1.4k damage, which is quite a bit, as long as they have that, and then 835 on the Wraithstorm carronades, which are using magic-infused ammunition, so same kind of buff, but only when the Winds of Magic power is 15 or greater. That said, we can still see the Wraithstorm carronades do almost half as much damage as the regular carronades, which once again does make sense, as they're supposed to be a sort of supporty type cannon. Alright, and it looks like the enemy is running towards us, minus the enemy lord, who is foolishly on a chariot, which means a big old target for those super high damage dealing carronades, and a couple more shots will bring the lord down long before he can reach our lines. And that said, even with the lord dead, there's still so many enemies to face off against, and plenty of them are flanking us as well, with 3 marauder horses on one side, 2 on the other, and then a feral wyvern, or rather a manticore, moving in as well. Gonna get a little bit of a range shootout going though as we engage with the enemy marauder horsemen. They'll chuck their javelins and axes at us, and we'll shoot right back, and both with our ghost helmsmen as well as our boarding crew. Our volume seems to be a little bit low, but it might just be me. I'm not entirely sure. And ooh, look at that volley of axes right into those ghost helmsmen. Even with the massive missile and physical resistance, they're still down by 20% HP, as they have very little of said HP. So that does make sense. And here come the marauders. The lord is out front to stop them in their tracks to some degree. And out of curiosity, when you put the polearm lords on top of crabback, it does say it gives them missile attacks, but I don't see this guy. This guy doesn't have a pistol and he's not firing at it, so is this an illusion? Do they actually have a ranged attack when they're on crabback, or do they not? Obviously the pistol and cutlass version of the Vampire Fleet Admirals do, but I'm not so sure about these guys. Oh well, either way, it looks like you're surrounded by the Marauders and Marauder Berserkers now. We're going to attempt to hold them back as best we can. We are horrifically outnumbered here and getting attacked on every side, and starting to suffer a little bit of damage here. The Ghost Helmsman, for example, and getting focused down by those enemy javelins and trying to fire back, but 853 damage and 2 kills, and frankly, that's just not going to work. They're going to move back into melee where they won't be attacked by the javelins, or if they are, at least there will be other units to take the hits for them. Ooh, I do like the color scheme on this particular enemy, though. That's a nice one. Alrighty, although it'll all be red soon enough. Looks like the bounce power is in our favor, as the first of the enemy units that have hit our battle line are on the verge of collapse, but there are plenty of full HP ones remaining, and as we can see, lots of our boarding crew are now down below half HP. This one over here, several of the units on the flank, in fact, it looks like almost all the units on the flank, but that's alright, because it bumps their melee defense up massively to 75, so even the huge huge melee attack of the Marauder Berserkers, and we'll have a difficult time dealing with it. Although the splash damage of these trolls will come in handy, and that's why we wanted to bring them down with our cannon fire. Tactically, there isn't too much to say here. The cannons are facing off against the enemy Marauder horses and what elements of Marauder hunters with javelins they can actually hit, while it's a melee on melee classic type of brawl here. And the zombie pirate boarding crew are holding and still racking up those kills. A nice job there. See that bloody wave come in and knock a few of the enemies back, and I'm sure we are grateful for the additional armor and vigor reduction provided by the altars of the Abyss here. Frankly, I'm still wondering whether we should have gotten 3 in this army rather than 2, as it looks like the units in the center won't benefit from it, but the units on the flanks will. Anyway, the bounce power continues to creep in our favor at about 80% now, though our our units of boarding crew continue to lose HP, especially against Marauder champions. But they should be able to outlast enemy even with the relatively small amount of heals that we've got here. Really got to get that unit of trolls out of there, and we'll try to gun them down as best we can with the with whatever boarding crew aren't stuck in melee right now, and fire into their backs to make sure that those that rout don't come back. Though it does look like lots of the enemy are beginning to rout. I'm not sure whether this is quite the end of the battle yet, as a few of the Marauder hunters with javelins are still firing away. And we are attempting to give chase to them as best we can so that they stop firing for at least a few seconds. Alrighty, and the Altar of the Abyss serving to distract some of these Marauder Berserkers is once again really helping out. Gotta love the extremely tanky nature of these things, even if they get no kills whatsoever. 1 kill and 268 damage, considering it's been fighting for, what, 4 minutes straight? It's interesting to see how a unit with this big old crab can do so little damage. Almost tempted to say they should get a little bit of extra weapon strength. It's not going to make a difference to be I mean, it's not going to make any real difference if they can get, I don't know, 10 or 20 kills rather than 1 or 2, you know? But then again, they're supposed to be essentially corpse carts, and, well, they are functioning essentially as corpse carts. It's just that outside of water, they're vastly inferior to them, but you know what? That's fine. It's just the principle of the thing, of them getting essentially no kills, but it doesn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me if they got 0 damage and 0 kills, because that's not their purpose. Anyway, it looks like with that, the enemy army will finally shatter, and the battle will be ours. It's certainly, we certainly took a lot of damage doing that. Pretty much every single one of our units of boarding crew is somewhere between 20% and 50% of their HP, though I'd wager the model losses in some cases aren't so bad, so a decent amount of them should recover. I suppose we'll see. Have a lovely fight against that pile of Norscans. Alright, there we go. A really fun fight, and certainly a difficult one. Close victory, and we gotta remember that the boarding crew are still a tier 2 unit, and so relatively weak, and can't easily fight on par with things like Marauder champions, or even Marauder Berserkers when in melee, and the enemy did certainly close the distance in that fight. Still, a really enjoyable one with the 30k, the first of the unnamed boarding crew actually winning the day. Oh, actually, 2 of the unnamed boarding crew winning the day there over the named ones. Go figure, or usually it's the opposite, as the named ones seem to try just a little bit harder. Neither of the Ghost Helmsmen did a crazy amount of damage, but they did provide that missile resistance aura, which frankly in this particular battle was quite useful, as there was a lot of range damage coming in from the enemy, and we can see I think the most damage dealt was by a unit of Marauder Hunters with javelins, and kill-wise, yeah, the Marauder Hunters with javelins definitely kept up with the Marauder Berserkers, the Trolls, and the Champions. Anyway, a lovely fight once again for Aerie. We're gonna establish a pirate cove here. as we do pretty much everywhere, and we will hopefully be able to put you into encamp stance and then heal up and then head to Dasson next. We'll also obviously set up the Pirates Rest again. And I believe that'll give us some cash. Now, Ari, you... I guess the boarding crew are all maxed out, eh? I mean, granted, they haven't reached rank 7 yet, but they're maxed out in terms of any buffs that they can get. You do have some artillery pieces, though, so we could, in theory, get... oh, we have Black Powder Overload. So I guess we have everything other than... Well, I guess we could level up the Altar of the Abyss by giving them Hardened by Death. At least that's 1 point. It's not that big of a deal, though it'll probably be a long time until they reach the appropriate rank. Unless I'm mistaken, they rank up based on kills, and these things can't get kills, so it's very difficult to get them any kind of real veterancy, but what can you do? Anyway, Empire Fleet Captain of Deep. Now, we didn't really have anything in the way of... sufficient mana or really any damaging casting in this particular fight. That said, we'll want to get Razor Cutlasses for you. And I'm gonna say another point in magical reserves. Curse of Years could be helpful as well. Well, we do also like to use Van Hels, so let's get Van Hels maxed out since it's a big enough area to pretty much encompass every single one of our boarding crew units, and, well, that's a lot of buff. Tenacity, and let's get, well, I mean, we still get benefit from Scupperum here, so let's get Scupperum. A little bit more damage for the various carronades in this particular army. Alright, so that was Airy. Who else needs to move this turn? Oh, Bones, Boney, my bony friend. Go to... Carascuro here. Let's see if you can auto-resolve it, although I'm willing to... Oh, wow, you can. That's shocking. Auto-resolve. Ouch. Our very limited numbers of quote-unquote melee units are the one that got obliterated, eh? You know, in light of needing to be able to occasionally auto-resolve, we might want to actually get a couple more Necrofexes in this army. It might allow the army to actually auto-resolve, and they are still relatively artillery adjacent. Anyway, we're going to capture this place. At least we can heal here. And the plan is obviously to trade the place away to possibly the Skaven and then possibly these guys to see if we can't get them to fight poor Wilfric. Alright, it's going to take a little bit to... and get these guys back up and running, but it'll take 2 turns to reach Tobaro anyway, so it doesn't really matter. At least not right now. And, yeah, well, okay, you can't build the units, so we'll have to have Mr. Noctilus do it for you. Anyway, Charlie Wig. What do we have here? Now, there's several important things that need to be done with you. First of all, we really need to knock out Wolfric the Wanderer. I think we'll try to head directly towards him. I was going to land here, but I think... we have to prioritize getting this quest completed, because, frankly, we've had it for a while. And I'd really like to get some bonus points with Rakarth going, oh, you know what we could actually do? We could land at San Luis. Let's go here. Oh, you can't reset them. Okay, fair enough. If I can remember next turn, we can try to occupy San Luis. The reason for that is proximity to Rakarth and to his enemies, which might reduce the costs of the units that we seek to get from Rakarth. Anyway, Treasure Seeker and Indiana Groans, I think neither of you need to move, which means, unless I'm mistaken, that's the end of this turn. Alright, let's go next turn. Let's see if Pharaon Wavemaker pops up, and if he doesn't, well then, that'll be a problem which we will hopefully be able to deal with, and hopefully not get screwed over by. End turn. Alright, no new attacks on us. There's that Master Gunner we've been waiting for, and oh, okay, he did spawn, so we didn't need to sell our stuff off, which is great, because I didn't want to do so right now, because we're looking to get to Baron von Heasty as well. Let's give this a read. Pharaon Wavemaker possesses one of the 3 verses of the fabled Lost Sea Shanty, and by exceeding his... oh, we already read this. It's exactly the same thing as the first one. Alright, fine, we'll fight... oh. Okay, this is concerningly close to us. I assume he's not going to go to our relatively undefended territories and will in fact go for Noctilus, who may want to loop back around, unless we send another army his way, which will Well, I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, let's start from the top. So that's a Noctilus. Do we still land here? I mean, it feels like we're so close to it, it feels like it's now a waste, so that we may want to travel to the other piece of 8, which should be out here somewhere. And I see another coast, Citadel of Myrmidia. No guilty, eh? Alright, move as close to Black Buckthorn as possible. I'm very excited to fight this army. That's an elite dwarf stack, and is always very fun. You can go back into flagship expansion, head towards it, and then whatever else we can find here. And go figure the Iron Claw works like us. Oh, one thing I noticed is that this guy, Mr. Kemmler, despises us because we're at war with South Confederacy, Miragliano, Remas, Trantio, and Pavona, so he is allied with every Southern Realm faction, which is kind of interesting. And in fact, as a defensive alliance with Trantio, he really does not like us, and that I was certainly not expecting, but it's a kind of a neat dynamic that they're allied like this, so I'm kind of happy to see it. Anyway, Airy, I guess they're going to besiege Dassault. I'm willing to bet that they're willing to sally out and attack you, and you can pick up these 3 islands that are right beside you after. We certainly need the gold since we're minus 6,000 now. Hey, don't you go for that island, and ooh, hello, Adelard the Devoted. Man, I wanted to send you to Albion, but there's so much stuff to do here on this coast. Go figure. Alright, we'll give them the chance to sally out. Let's build some siege equipment, and let's let them try. They might bring this army back and attempt to attack us. In fact, I really hope they do, rather than picking up these islands, which the AI has an annoying tendency to do sometimes when it's not like we can stop them. Frankly, I'm surprised that they ran, but, well, once again, what can you do? Maddie, you're going to establish a pirate cove here at Cassos. With a quick little auto-resolve, damaging once again the animated Hulks, but they're not supposed to be in this army anyway. They're supposed to be in their own animated Hulk army, so that'll be fine. Establish pirate cove, and then... Does that count as sacking or... No, it counts as raising. Damn, I was hoping to go back into raiding because we're at minus 7.7k now and it's, well, it's getting uglier turn by turn. Pirates Rest once again. Billy Drakenfort, you're landing. Connor, you're landing. I thought everybody has fancy names and this guy's just Connor. Billy Bloodletter. Oh, there's a Billy Drakenfort and a Billy Bloodletter. I love it. And then Tommy Wolsey. You are a dreaded marksman. You are heading back to the artillery army, so you're going in the opposite direction. Frankly, I need to double check whether we might have another one available. No, waterproof pack. Infamous monstrosity. Oh, we got another infamous monstrosity. Alright, we'll take it. Ugh, I do wish that I didn't have to spend the cash on it, but what can you do? Alright, so... what we need to do is this. Mary Ann Oxenfurt, we are going to transfer to you all of these flyers and this one Vampire Fleet Captain, yeah. We'll do this. Like so. And you are at 18 out of 20. 19 out of 20 will be... Are you missing something? Alright, I might be missing something. I guess it doesn't really matter much because we can build it with a trusty Montfort since we're going to make him the flying army since it's somewhat fragile and likely to lose units, so I think that's what we'll have to do. Anyway, what I think we'll do here... I mean, I guess we could get them another Vampire Fleet Captain. Maybe that's the way to do it. That'll put it at 19 out of 20. We don't necessarily have to build one now unless there's one that I like. Anyway, what I would like to do here is this. You... Wait. No. Pete Kelly, start with you. Yes, you're a damned cannibal. You're going to enter this army. And the likelihood of finding 4 damned cannibals is pretty low, so we're going to use 2 damned cannibals and then 2 infamous monstrosities together. Alright, like so, and then 1 more infamous monstrosity. I would have preferred all damned cannibals, but, well, you know. Then, Trusty Montfort, I would like you to upgrade the Promethean Anchor. But hold off on upgrading anything else. And we will put that guy in this army afterwards. We will also want to transfer you all of the ghosties. And the army is nearly complete, and you just need to be reset rather shortly. Alright, out here... We are looking to find another vampire fleet captain of the vampire variety. Seasoned scallywag, we'll take it. And we'll pop them all into this army, and then this army will be ready to go and sail southward as well. And I'm happy with that. Technology, let's pick a new tech, shall we? Ooh, wait, before I forget, we are going to pop into Charlie Wake's army here. She has the powder monkey. Now she's gonna get to the master gunner. Double up on the range for all the deck droppers and all of the gunnery mobs, as well as armor-piercing missile damage for both the gunnery mobs and the deck droppers, and that's why this is a combined army of both types. I'm still thinking we should replace the Wraithstorm Knights with Batwing Bombards just because we already have bats in here, so it kind of feels like it makes sense, but anyway. Let's see who... Oh man, minus 9k. Let's see who needs to move next, shall we? Oh, I was gonna pick a tech and then I promptly forgot about it. What's the important next tech to pick? I don't really care about the recruit thing at this point. I did want the bonus versus infantry and bonus versus large. Control +2 might actually be a decent pick now. And we are starting to raid a little bit, so we could put Quartermaster on somebody. We should probably send an army somewhere to raid, like the most expensive location we can find, like the biggest money generating location we can find, rather. Ooh, miscast base chance, it's only -5 though. You know what, we did start on getting deck droppers now, so I think maybe missile resistance on them will be quite valuable, and then the melee defense for Sirens, since we're using Sirens. Although, frankly, the order at this point doesn't matter over much. Oh, before I forget, we should also... Charlie Wake is currently leading this army, but it'll have to be Trusty Montford, who is currently our fleet treasurer because he was recruiting stuff. That's no longer the case. Montford, I'd like you to... Oh. Does removing from office hurt their loyalty? I hope that it doesn't. But yeah, Trusty Montford is the one who's going to be leading the flying army, and thus he'll need to be buffed. So remove from office, Charlie Wake. And then Montford, you're going to go to Fleet Beastmaster, and then Treasurer... I mean, I guess we could put Charlie Wake back into it. It's all armies faction-wide in all provinces, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. I'm reasonably happy with that. Let's continue. Trusty Montford... Oh, I already did you. Two-Toes Adley. Okay, this thing came back again, but we're just gonna ignore it now. I kept wanting to move up the coastline. Oh wow, they took and destroyed Orion's camp. That's kind of interesting. Let's put you in raiding stance, move you this way. Maybe get a little bit of cash. 600 per turn. It's not horrible. Oh wow, look at that. We got battle markers here. I wonder if they could raise anything interesting. Not that we're looking to... Oh wow, we can raise depth guard. And we could raise as many bloated corpses as we like. If we had room in this army, I might just for fun. We'll try some of them out at some point. I think the lizard trinket one might do fire damage. I'm gonna double check though. No, magical armor piercing, not fire. Unfortunate. What about the damned reliquary one? Also magical armor piercing damage. And we'll try them out. They're modded units, but, well, I mean, bloated corpses are kind of mad, but, you know, just for fun, we'll do them. Anyway, Burke Black. Now, we could head you out to the Mysterious Island, and frankly, where else would you go right now? Now, we could go along here, raise, sack, and whatnot, but, it's not coastal. And over here is, so we might want to loop back around that way. I suppose we could cross through Stretto and go that way. Yeah, maybe. It wouldn't mean leaving this island, though, which is going to bother me if we do. Yeah, you know what? Grab the island, screw it. I wonder if you can land immediately after. Aggression, please. Relic Sword and the Bloody Red Spot. And let's see if you can land, which you can. I find it so weird that we can heal so much more in both enemy territory and neutral territory on the ground than on the water, especially with a, you know, with a pirate, with an actual flagship. Also, you, sir, need to grab the carpenter for a moment in order to get the cannons up and running, and, I mean, I guess we could build up the weather deck, not that it's super important, but... somewhat important, I guess. The rest of this stuff can be ignored as we're looking to try to move towards tier 5 and all of that stuff, so you'll just stay as you are. Alrighty, who's next? Bones. Now, you're supposed to head to Tobaro and, you know, try not to die while you're at it. Stay in camp stance, and I'm a little bit worried about getting attacked suddenly by all of these Slaneshi armies, but, well, if it happens, it happens. Stay in camp stance. Maybe... Now, they'd be able to reach us no matter what, so just do it and try not to die. Oh, you actually heal less here, right? Maybe if we go here, we could still be able to reach Tobaro next turn. I'm just gonna hope that we can. I'd rather he be somewhat full HP. Now, out of curiosity, how much is... Oh, we can't trade it to you. Oh, go figure. I was hoping we could trade this location to them, but apparently not. I clicked on the wrong guy. Now, let's talk to Skavenblight or Icket for a moment. And we can't trade settlements. I really want the defensive alliance with him, though. Come on, man. Don't hold out on me. Charlie. You're going to San Luis, and we'll see if we can actually land there. And see if it's full of rats, as things have a tendency to be, and you're going up north. Alright, and we land, and we have reached it, and we will auto-resolve it, and we will take half... Really? Okay, auto-resolve, you're being absolutely insane now. It's 4 units of clan rats. How did they kill off a third of our army? And we have so much range superiority, it's insane. Oh, freaking auto-resolve, man. Oh, man, okay, that was just kind of irritating. And now we have to hope that there isn't a bunch of full stacks here to immediately attack Charlie before she heals up, because, well, it's not going to be so great if that's what happens. But, oh well, what can you do? Now, we do have proximity, which means... Honestly, I was hoping the Charybdises and the Hydras would get cheaper, but they didn't really. And the Bloodrack Medusa. We have so little income of the allegiance. And we're military allies with a tier 3 outpost. I mean, we aren't doing the missions, or haven't been, but I still feel like we need to increase the allegiance income. Anyway, for now, you're going to get ensorcelled weapons, all hands away, and you have the deck droppers as well, which is Masterly Splicing. And I don't think we need the others. Ah, Masterly Splicing gives 5 melee defense, eh? It's useful for the deck droppers if they get attacked by stuff, which inevitably they probably will be. You guys. Max out replenish troops, because go figure we have to now. Let's get you Kiss of the Deep and frankly Fog of the Damned. I mean, I guess we could get 1 point in Tide Call as well. Frankly, we're not using Lore of the Deep as much as vampires, so 1, 2, and all hands fire, please. And you one... Oh, you already have all hands fire. Fair enough. Let's start moving through Powder Wet, then. Oh, and both of you can actually go on bats. Or, you know what, maybe 1 on ground and then 1 on bat. 1 to command each sort of thing. Maybe a little sub-commander type deal. Also, San Luis is prepare the harbor because there's a decent likelihood that we'll actually trade the place eventually, so, yeah. Anyway, who's after you? Catch Sharp. You were waiting for something, are you not? Oh, right, you're waiting for the, for Ruinous to be able to move. Ugh, 8.5k per turn. I think I overdid it slightly, but what can you do? Let's try to acquire some cash elsewhere. And then, oh right, I hadn't decided whether to move you immediately. Marianne Oxenfurt. Now, the idea here was to get 2 of these guys, perhaps, to get the Old Assault for missile resistance and Feed the Fish for weapon strength, both of which benefit to the deck droppers and flyers. Yeah, fair enough, so I guess we need 2 vampire fleet captains of vampires. And probably why we didn't move, because there's a first mate here, and I assume that you are not a seasoned freebooter or whatever it was. Yeah, you're a seasoned scallywag. I mean, I guess we could wait 1 more turn. Unless there's another type of lore that we could use here. There's another seasoned scallywag if we want to go death lore. Although, wait, are you already death lore? Wait, no. Trusty Montfort, what lore are you? You are a vampire's lore. Alright, fair enough. Oh, unswerving freebooter. Ah, but the deep's lore is kind of useless for the flyers. Let's just go death lore. Not a big deal. I'd just rather get them on field and, you know, up and running as soon as possible. I don't want them wasting their time here. Alright, so that's good enough. That's good enough. They will be able to move next turn and go wherever it is they need to go. Sam the Clodder, you're in the same position. You'll wait until next turn. Let's move the treasure hunters around. You are going somewhere over here, and frankly, I don't quite remember exactly where, so... It's over here, alright. I guess we're going to the coast now. Let's see if there's anybody interesting over here, as in somebody we could potentially ally with and maybe acquire some units. Alright, we have... Okay, that's not helpful. Warriors of Chaos, and there's the Great Orthodoxy. They don't like us too much, but at least it's not minus 100 aversion. I'd really love to find some ogres and some other vampires. We maybe need to send one of these guys to... send one of these guys to Vlad, maybe. Go up here. Evelyn the Brine, and remember who you are. Oh, yeah, you're here. Indiana Groans is fine. Stay here. And Treasure Seeker, you're kind of stuck where you are. I mean, you're not really doing anything here anyway. We could send you down here, but in 13 turns, you're just going to need to set up another cove. Although at the same time, it's kind of not as critical as it once was. Maybe go find some units. And frankly, there's probably ports along the rivers, so may be able to go inland and do this instead. It's certainly another option. Anyway, I believe that's it. Let's do some building. Not a lot of it, though, because we have the Pirate Wharf here, the whatever, Cape of Conjuring, and oh my lord, these things are also expensive. You know what? Maybe we'll wait. We still have materials at sea for a couple of turns. We will build the Wreck of the Heldenhammer. Missile strength for all of our artillery. And I guess we have room for one more thing. We could do a pirate fortress, which we do want everywhere for the hero capacities. Income from sacking and looting settlements faction-wide as well, which is another reason we want these every bloody where. The only thing is that this place will then not be able to build... Oh, actually, it will be able to build Necrofex Colossi. It won't be able to build flyers. But you know what? I think that's okay. And it would be nice to have the buried treasure chest here as well, but, you know, I can't have everything, so we won't have everything. Alright, keep it as it is then, and we'll build up the rest as needed if we can. Alright, the rest of that looks good to me. Building upgrade available, garrison lord unassigned skill points, hero not moved, lord not moved. And let's end the turn and see if we can't hit Mr. Black Buckthorn and acquire the... Night Terror's Morn Goals. Well, that's perfect, because we just got the Ghostly Army up and running. Alright, we got the supplies adrift thing again, which is fine. We got the, well, 20% range? Yeah, we're gonna take that. Yes, the armor and the melee attack from melee infantry is fantastic, but 20% range for missile infantry is just too good to say no to, so we'll take the gun line. Again, mission aborted. How did it get aborted? What the heck? Why? Are they no longer at war? No. Presumably because Wulfric was defeated, but I assumed that the mission would be up and running until he came back. Alright, fair enough. Ooh, Balthazar Gelt. You know what? I would like to keep an eye on him because we were looking to attack him anyway. So, oh, he's down at Stone Mine Tower now? We're gonna have to go back. I mean, we were gonna anyway. And what the heck? Where did Black Buckthorn go? Game, please. Why are you doing this to me, man? I assume he ran further away. Afraid, is he? Yeah, he's up here now. Okay, for the love of... Okay, Noctilus, go kill him. Get that piece of 8, please. Yes, declare war. Alright, we've been waiting for this, and... Oh, wow, look at that. The orcs are doing pretty well. They have a concerning amount of coastal territories, but we'll ignore them for now. At least we'll ignore them with Noctis, and... wow, he actually is running. You're running from Noctilus. You coward. I mean, it makes sense, but you're still... And as a Pyrrhic victory and medium casualties. Hey, stop being a coward. Gleaming Pennant doesn't really matter. I'm still tempted to take away the Lichbone Pennant from the Reapers and then put them on Noctis because he has no magical damage. I do like that Banner of Swiftness on him, admittedly. I'll think about it. We could always put it on, like, the Gunnery White just so they can reposition themselves faster, and frankly, this Gunnery White might be actually better... might be better on the Bat, although there are no other flyers to defend him in this particular army. But anyway, I digress. None of that really matters. We're going to put the Gleaming Banner on you, and we're going to head into the fight against all those dwarves. Should be pretty fun against the elite army. Go.
Noctilus can rule the great ocean and the waters beyond.
Alright, finally a decent long speech from Noctilus there, and here we go. I'm excited for this one. It's a big old elite and dwarf stack, and pretty much on par with our own army in terms of its cost. The Hammerers, Iron Breakers, and Giant Slayers are all units that are more expensive than our own Depth Guard, so they should be giving us a decent fight. We will of course approach and fire as we go. And we'll see how much damage we can do, which should ramp up the closer we get to the enemy. I also love the fact that essentially every single unit of our Depth Guard has a Necrofex Colossus that advances with it, which seems really appropriate. And once again, that's a scary sight marching towards you and firing those multi-shot cannons. Anyway, let's see. Anybody taking a significant amount of damage? Looks like this unit of Longbeards has lost about 30% of its HP. Of course, we could have sat back and fired away at the enemy for a lot longer and forced them to come to us, but that's not quite as fun as charging on in like this. Plus, it keeps the battle a little bit more interesting if we don't obliterate the enemy at range, so we shan't do so. Here come the Depth Guard, and of course these staunch lines of dwarfs will not buckle under the charge and onslaught of the rushing vampire thralls, but they will start getting torn apart fairly rapidly as these guys are buffed the heck up at this point. 87 and 88 melee attack and defense, magical damage to that, and look at this poor unit of Hammerers is pretty much destroyed and isn't enjoying the Twin Axe variants plus zombies ate my ship. The named Necrofex Colossus. Anyway, some Slayers facing off against, some Slayers and Longbeards I should say, facing off against the, and Ironbreakers, against the Polearm Depth Guard. And it looks like the most dangerous element of this particular battle is on this left flank, where most of the enemy is still fighting. And I say that because the enemy's right flank is very much on the verge of collapse. Too many range units were concentrated here, and they simply got overrun by the Depth Guard and such. We also do have our two Mourngul Haunters in this army. They're not crazy necessary here, but I just love the unit so much I felt like I had to have a few in Noctilus's army. Fantastic units, great animations, they've got a lot of good stuff going for them, and they can do a lot. Plus they got debuffs for the enemy as well. Anyway, with that, it looks like the main enemy stack has pretty much shattered, and only these Slayers remain in the fight, whether they be Giant Slayers or otherwise. And it's now just a matter of destroying them after their death blows are done. And there we go, and I'm sure they'll take a few of the Depth Guard with them, but probably not so many that will be concerned about it. Every single one appears to be losing their heads. Do Slayers pretty much always die losing their heads? They certainly have a tendency, don't they? There we go, and a little bit of a backhand from those axes on that Depth Guard, but it did survive. It looks like that was the last unit of Slayers, and okay, I lied. This is the last unit of Slayers. And, oh, I see, it's taking a little bit longer to kill it because the Face of Death zombie summons were in the way. Anyway, now the last unit of Slayers is gone, and with that, Black Buckthorn's army is destroyed. Noctilus chases down Black Buckthorn himself, and another piece of 8 is ours. Alrighty, nice fight. I still very much enjoy seeing Noctilus's army advance. The Necrofex is rushing forward, keeping pace at the same speed as the Depth Guard, firing as they move. It's just a beautiful sight. We'll take the money because we need it, as we're going to be minus 10k soon, and we can't even afford buildings right now because we're so much in the red. But hey, we just got to keep one step ahead of or one doubloon ahead of bankruptcy. Ransom captives, also cue Aladdin's song. Anyway, faction destroyed, and there we go. The Vorgo Nugget. Night Terrors, Mourngoals. Well, we're about to lose even more money per turn, because we're going to get those on field. High above Manan's ocean realm, in the place them landlubbers call the Southern Grey Mountains, there be a place with vast seams of gold known as the Vorgo Crags. None be brave enough to mine them, though, because of the coldness and the evil things that wander the place. The only piece of Vorgo gold known to exist outside the mountains was carried out by the single survivor of a doomed mining expedition, the rest of them being taken by slow, painful starvation before the evil mountain winds made something unspeakable out of them. Yes. They may be unspeakable, but we're talking about them now. You, Night Terrors, on field. And there we go. Army is 1 unit short of completion, 1 step ahead of the noose, etc. Ronnie Knotts, get in there. And there we go. Ghostly Army is operational. I would like to see where that guy went. Firon, you are there. And... huh. He actually went north instead of south. That was unexpected. Well, that hasn't changed the fact that Cat Sharp's army is ready to go and start heading towards him. And otherwise to Albion. We'll see how well they can handle the ghosts. Whom we will level up slightly by giving them the melee defense plus 10 to the sirens and the spell resistance for... That's so weird. It's the opposite of what it should do. Sirens really need the spell resistance because they have extremely low HP and they're vulnerable to spells, and they already have extremely high melee defense as well as Charmed giving enemies low melee attack, so the extra melee defense basically does very little for them. And Mourngoals aren't really susceptible to spell work anyway because they're monstrous infantry. So really, and they have very low melee defense, so this should give melee defense to Mourngoals and spell resistance to Sirens. I don't really care about the others. Go figure. Oh well. Not a big deal, hopefully. And yes, I understand that it kind of leans into, to some degree, what they're already doing, but the Sirens really need the spell resistance. Conversely, for the Vampire counts, there are techs that give Cairn Wraiths spell resistance, which they need. Anyway, the rest of this is fine, yes? You don't need to build anything unless I'm mistaken. I mean, I guess technically you need to build your gun stuff, but your army is nearly maxed out. So here's what we're going to do. Marianne Oxenford, we're going to pop Isabel the Brine in your army, like so. And Marianne Oxenford, you will carry this army northward, eventually to be replaced by Trusty Montfort. Trusty Montfort, who was previously our recruiter lord, will now be reset so that he can command the army. I'm hoping that resetting one of these armies does not obliterate all the buildings in there. But I guess we're about to find out. So, reset skill points, sir. And you'll be back in 3 turns. Alright, lovely. You two get ready to move. I should probably give you route marchers so that you can move a teensy bit further, and you already have it, I presume. And level 4, level 1, level 15, level 17. Do the level 15s get access to Wretched and Haunters in the Dark? The things that buff Sirens and Mourngoals. It looks like they do. Alright, so. Do we need to do this right now? Ooh, We Are the Elite will be nice as well. I'm just double checking. We should probably get them Tenacity as well. And they do get magical attacks as well. Oh! They do get magical attacks, huh? Okay, well that's a good thing to see. You know what, we'll do this before fighting it. It's just, or I'll do it between the episodes or whatever. Anyway, let's keep moving everybody else. Now these guys decided not to sally out, so I guess we can, nope, we cannot auto-resolve this. Oh, this is such a waste of time though. Oh yeah, essentially I already did one of these, and I mean, they do have a mammoth in this one, but it still feels like a waste of time. If we don't end this turn, this episode, I'll do this one between the episodes, but if we do, then I'll do it now. You, Maddie, are going to besiege Thessos, and your heroes are still on the approach. Alright, and you cannot auto-resolve this, but that might mean they're willing to sally out if these guys move in to help, so who knows. And yeah, I definitely went overboard on the money thing, because we're now at minus 10,000 gold per turn. It's a lot. Oh, we just gotta acquire some cash. by any means necessary. Alright, you go this way. You... I don't think you were... Oh, hello. Hello, we got 2 armies. I was gonna go for Tobaro, but armies are another way to acquire cash, and the question is gonna be whether we can reach them or not. By the looks of it, we can. Which one, I wonder, will be more likely to actually fight us? Kinda hard to say. Or are you next in the order? Let me just see here. Maddie, you can besiege or continue besieging. 2 toes. Alright, you were next in the order. Let's do it in order or I'll get confused again. Go sack the Idol of Nehru. And I'm willing to bet that the Outer Resolve is going to screw you over a little bit, as it has a tendency to do, but that's alright. Just sack the place, don't raise it. Whatever. Let these guys live. And you got a Forbidden Rod. And then you can go into raiding actually, you kind of can't. I'll have to re-sack the place. Because, well... What if we go and march to... no, march stance is too risky. You know what? It's so little in terms of raiding that we're going to go past the Idol of Nehru like this. And then we'll sack Doomglade Swamp and hopefully find another coast here, because we've gone through all of this territory. There are clearly some ports here. And we're getting further and further away from the oil rigs, but we can send an army that doesn't have ships to the oil rigs, or doesn't have a ship to the oil rigs, because they can be, well, they can be used as actual territory. Burke Black. We were gonna send you through this territory, so let's have you sack Verdanos on the way, and in fact, unless you need to build something, which I believe you don't, you can set up an raiding stance. Wait, no you can't, this is neutral territory. We're gonna go over here then. And that's fine. These all already have the coves. And then can you get raiding? Yes you can, there we go. 888, not bad. We need every penny we can get. Oh, Bones, now it's your turn. You're gonna say that? No, you are not. We are going to get you points first. You haven't sorcered weapons. Let's get you all hands away. We still need hardened by death for the necrofexes, but that'll happen eventually. You, sir, are gonna get powder wet and powder keg. Actually, I lied. You're going to get powder wet immediately into ammo sacks, immediately into lucky spyglass for the extra range. And then you probably don't have much of anything, but let's get you drowned dead for emergencies in case the artillery gets charged. Probably the most useful thing here. All right, Bonies. Bones, whatever. Go for Fabrinto Portuanez. And oh, that is a lot of cavalry. That's kind of concerning, actually. Should have gone for the other one. Huh, he's actually gonna run. Coward. Let's see if we can chase him down or not. And what do we got here? It looks like we can. Frankly, we could choose either one, but we're gonna go after you, because if you crushing defeat, then why did you run, AI? Okay, so clearly there's some kind of discrepancy, because the auto-resolve is saying it's a crushing defeat, but the AI ran because it thought it wouldn't win, which is accurate because it's not going to win, but it is interesting that the auto-resolve is giving us crushing defeat. It's really bizarre that the two don't match, isn't it? Go figure. Well, kill them all. Alright, ahoy indeed, I like to hear that, and here we go. A big old pile of cavalry versus a big old pile of artillery. Should be pretty interesting, if nothing else, and I'm curious to see how this particular battle goes. Anyway, we're gonna start off with switching our Batwing Bombards to their single-shot variant in the hopes of bringing down certain critical units, like those Knights of the Black Rose, and generally speaking, the enemy melee Knights. We do have a little bit of water, so we can use some of our aquatic units to help out, and of course the deck gunners will be out front to target critical enemies like those Outriders. We also do use one of our Batwing Bombard's abilities, giving up half of its ammunition in order to summon exploding bomb bats. And they will land and then all explode and hopefully deal decent damage to some of the enemy Knights of the Black Rose, who appear to have lost some, though it's unclear what damage came from the bats and what from the deck guns and the other bats that keep flying on in. Alright, one of the units of the Knights of the Black Rose is nearly done, but there are plenty more where that came from. In fact, we've gotten 2 units off field, and the enemy has crossed about half the distance towards us, which means there's a decent likelihood that they will be able to reach our lines. Not so the enemy lord, however, as he gets focused down by our carronades, Wraithstorm and Regular, as well as our deck guns, and gets brought down from the skies. Looks like a unit of Outriders is booking it on out of there, and we're going to summon the Face of Death zombies in the way of some more Empire Knights so that the melee units can't attempt to close the distance, at least on the left flank. On the right flank and center, it looks like some Knights of the Black Rose have made it forward and are going to charge right into our zombie pirate gunnery mob. This is our single unit, and it's just here to serve as a meat shield that we summoned randomly while waiting for another gunnery wight. Over on the right flank, the same thing is happening, except the Necrofex Colossi are blocking off as many of the enemy range and melee cav as they can to try to prevent them from reaching our line of artillery. Oh, and it looks like the Knights of the Black Rose will in fact charge through that zombie pirate gunnery mob, and in fact the enemy is smartly sending some of its pistoliers and or outriders into melee rather than sitting back and firing away. They obviously would not win a range shootout, but they absolutely could win in melee against the extraordinarily fragile deck gunners. 12 melee defense and barely any HP to speak of. The enemy has done the same thing with 2 Empire captains, which have both gone through our deck guns and into the artillery in the back lines, but they are being chased down by our lords and heroes and tied up in both locations. And this unit of Pistoliers being really annoying, but fortunately there's only one of them in our back lines at the current time, and it's not quite enough to distract all of our units. Gonna keep dropping bats upon the enemy. I've also summoned a unit of Rotting Prometheans to get in the enemy's way, while the 2 Necrofex continue to hold off those 2 units of Knights of the Black Rose. And pretty impressively, I should say, the Necrofex seem to be suffering basically no damage against the Knights of the Black Rose here. Oh, it's because of the regeneration, eh? Since these guys have regeneration due to that bloody red spot, the curse of cannibalism, those are regenerating Necrofexes, which is a scary thought. Normally they are pretty fragile, but not so much here. Plus they're aquatic, so they had a pretty good time fighting in the water as well. Anyway, it looks like with that the enemy army will shatter and the battle will be ours. They did manage to charge on through and do some damage to at least a couple of artillery pieces and deck guns, but at the end of the day not enough made it through to be able to give us too hard a time. Still, it was looking potentially dicey there, at least for a second. Ooh, alright, well, the wasn't a crushing defeat, but we did come admittedly dangerously close to being overrun now. This is almost the ideal sort of army that the enemy had to deal with us specifically, as it was almost entirely cav-based and thus difficult for our mortars to do anything. This is one of those rare times where our high veterancy Batwing bombards basically did nothing, and obviously our regular mortars at 334 also did pretty much nothing as well, but that's hardly surprising. These guys did a little bit because they at least had their single shots. The carronades did better because they're, well, better against the artillery pieces. The 2 units of Necrofexes, they were able to hold off those knights quite admirably, and they certainly needed them to do so, so good job to them. I think we're going to heal up. It's not much, but there is another, well, probably not actually needed. No, still take the money, still take the money. This one army isn't enough of a threat for us to be concerned with, and while unfortunately we can't reach it, hopefully they'll go for us next turn. Obsidian Amulet, there's another ship's necro, and we are good to go. Stay here in Dreadfleet expansion. I keep calling it Dreadfleet expansion. Flagship expansion.
Ours is the sea.
I think there's nothing that we need to build right now because we want to rather level up that sea cabin next turn to the next level. So you're good to go. Next up, Ari, you're fine where you are. Maddie, you are fine where you are, at least for now. Charles is good. Charlie. All right, now you... I wonder if this guy's going towards Charlie. It's kind of unclear exactly what he's trying to do, whether he's trying to go for the nearest army or not. Anyway, I was planning to trade San Luis, and I guess we could trade Sahagun to these guys as well. Keep Karth happy, especially if he's still unwilling to do anything about Cabreros here. Don't tell me he's stuck, too. He's not stuck, he's just sitting there. And he's raiding Cabreros. Okay, well, I don't know. Don't ask me, man. You're gonna hit Sahagun. And I guess we could set up a cove at Bilbali. And there's nobody here either, and once again the auto-resolve is going to wreck us, but there's not much we could do about it. Well, actually it wasn't as bad this time. And occupy, and I think for now you can keep the Gambler's armor. Alright, there we go. And if this guy continues moving towards us, we might go after him. I do wonder what's in his army, though. Might be concerning. I mean, these guys were able to defeat the first of the sea shanty armies, but who knows if they'll be able to do so again. The trades will happen, but we'll do that in a bit. Sam the Clotter, you were waiting for these guys. Did I get you on the field this turn? No. Alright, so, or yes, rather. Actually, no. Vampires, and the other two. And there we go. Army complete. No artillery to speak of, so we're just going to have to rush the enemy with our drowned ogres and our drowned deckhands. The main issue here is that the deckhands are much slower than the ogres are, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm going to do the leveling right now, or at least just a small bit of it. I just want to see this. Razor cutlasses and feed the fish. I'll deal with the rest of the stuff later. I want to see to what degree we can get these guys damage and stuff up. Razor cutlass, feed the fish, and razor cutlass, feed the fish, and then you. Inspiring presence held together by screws for the deckhand mobs with polearms. Then we will go for drowned and bound to get more weapon strength for the animated hulks. We will go for the Avasti. Is anything here helpful to any of those guys? Since we have no artillery, not really. So we don't really care. We want Deadly March, and we want All Hands Away, and then we want Masterly Splicing. No, wait, yes. For the animated hulks. Technically Hardened by Death would help the single altar of the Abyss, but frankly, once again, they're so tanky that it doesn't really matter what we do. So it might be a waste to do that. Alright, definitely get the Hunger, and definitely, I'm gonna say Spirit Leech, so that you can cast. Anyway, with those, let's see what our deckhand mobs are looking like. 38 melee defense, not too bad. They still have barely any armor or anything to speak of, but they're big old blobs, and maybe they'll survive long enough. You guys are up to 86 melee attack and 198 weapon strength with 20 mobs, or 20 units in the blob, which is pretty good. Anyway, Sammy, Plotter, south. We're gonna head you south to the oil rigs then. Somebody has needed to go there for a while, and I do have other army. Oh, wait, you can grab this island if I remember that it's here, which is a distinct possibility that I don't, but we'll see. Anyway, Ari... Okay, wait, I keep going back to you. I keep going back to you, Ari. Anyway, Billy Dreckenfort. I forgot who you are. Oh, you're these guys. Yeah. Alright, treasure hunters. You are ready to land, if nothing else. It's over here, unless I'm mistaken. Oh, so many islands that we have no island armies to go after yet. But it'll change. You go this way. Maybe we'll send you all the way to Sylvania. Gotta try to ally with Vlad. You are going all the way up here, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. I'll double check where this is exactly. And it is right here. Alright, I think we had one over there as well earlier, or at least one that was near it. Just gotta try to go here. Alright. And Indiana groans, you have 9 turns. I wonder if there's any rivers nearby. Oh, this river keeps going, eh? Might be able to get some coves up and running down there. Let's head you down there. See if there's anything interesting going on. We don't necessarily need to stick around Luther Harkin. He only has, what, 4 territories? He's kind of in an interesting location. Wait, 11 territories? Never mind. He has a bunch here. Well, even if we got the Confederation mod, the Drowned don't like us very much because of reasons, and yeah, Confederation would be pretty unlikely unless we were to defeat them anyway, so the mod wouldn't even be helping us here. Anyway, the rest of that looks good to me, minus Ares' thing, and Ares is going to... wait. Alright, I wanted to either do that... okay, well, you know what? We'll manually fight this real quick. I'll just try to speed through it. Let us build the Castillo de Estragon here, Alchemy Workshop, and the first of the Pirate Hall buildings. We will build up the parapets for defenses. We'll ignore the Maelstrom for now. We will not ignore the Galleon's Graveyard. We'll build a Dead Pirate Stronghold and Mathland's Locker. Yes. Definitely the Pirate Wharf. Definitely the Pirate Fortress. Ignore the military structures, but build a Buried Sea Chest. And we have room for 2 more military structures as the rest is not needed, so we can ignore it freely. Yeah. Alright. Ignoring it, we shall do. Wait, what about that place that I just upgraded to tier 5? That's you. You previously had the Pirate Gallows, but you no longer need that because you're at tier 5. And the Pirate Gallows can thus be deleted as they no longer serve a purpose there. Alright, the rest of this is good. There are no rights that would give us any... well, we only have this one and it's not helpful to us right now. Campaign movement range is nice, but I think we have enough movement range bonuses for our purposes currently. Let us... do this fight real quick manually. Come on, Ghost Helmsman. Come on, man. And why are you even dying? It's probably because they are faster moving than the boarding crew. But the enemy is but the auto-resolve certainly seems to be sending them into the melee. But anyway, fight battle manually, real quick. Alright, is this a minor? So wait, it doesn't count as Norscan homeland, but it probably does have walls since we built the siege equipment. Yeah, it does have walls. The minor annoying thing about this map is it's a Bretonian map, and it has all these forests around, which means difficulty positioning our cannons appropriately. But oh well, not a big enough deal to concern us, and on the bright side, this does mean that this enemy won't have artillery of their own other than the towers. And that shouldn't be that major of a threat. Alright, let's set you up here. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't really care. Let's say you two go after this tower here, and then this gate, and then... ooh, good luck hitting this tower. Maybe if we set them up all the way back here, they'll still be able to fire over the forest and into that tower. Remains to be seen. We'll send one of the boarding crews at the gate here. Actually, you know what? Go for this gate. And then not you. Let's get you. And you. And I guess we'll send you up the center. I could actually send you to climb with them to be perfectly... oh, wait, actually we can't because you don't have perfect vigor unlike the other ghosts. You very well should, but I guess you'll wait then. Alright, fair enough. Everybody else is waiting. You're waiting. You are gonna go here together with the one Vampire Fleet captain, and then you are going to go here. You two are going to be firing now. This tower, you're gonna be firing at this tower. Try to knock it down. You are gonna land here. You're gonna land here. You Altars of the Abyss, you're going to provide boons, missile resistances to those guys. Looks like this tower is active, but is being fired upon. Let's move everybody else closer. Looks like we can bring down this gate pretty quickly at this rate, and let's activate your enchanted ballistics there. You Ram might also not be needed, depending on how quickly these two are able to knock out this gate. We might even be able to reach the walls in a few places. Alright, I'll speed this up a little bit and keep it sped up. There, the feral mammoths is in there. Alright, frankly, drop the ram, you're not going to need it. The gate will go down like this. Alright, let's speed it back up shortly. Move towards the mammoth. You move towards there as well. You two move towards the gate. Probably don't need to really to breach the walls, just keep on firing away. Let's speed this up a little bit while we reposition. Alright, wait for the towers to come up and we'll send the gunners up there. Alright, slow back down. We need you two. Get ready to move on in. Altars of the Abyss are in the locations that they're supposed to be in. Get ready to move them through the gate. Just waiting for some units to move up on top of the gate in order to do so. And, alright, you guys fire upon this Marauder Spear unit, I guess? Doesn't really matter over much. You know what, frankly, is there any towers in here? Move forward and fire upon that platform. Alright, it looks like some units have decided to move on in. Fair enough. Let's move you in, and let's move you two to attack it, and then you're going to be group 2, you're going to get ready to move on in. Let us summon a blob of zombos right there, and then activate you. Then we will set you up to fire down on the enemy below. And melee move on in to attack these marauders. You go on in. You gonna be providing support shortly. You're gonna be doing the same. You have a nice elevation, so you can fire down on the Marauder Hunters below. We can activate Shanty first. Yeah, go for it. Speed it up a little bit. We can probably summon some zombos inside. Do we have any damaging spells? Not really. Let's keep going as you are. We should be able to overrun them. Alright, what the heck? Where are you? Who are you? Where are you going? Huh. This was the unit told to go melee through the gate, and instead it decided to not go through the broken gate. It decided to go up the tower for no reason. Fine. Annoying, but fine. Go here. And yeah, just keep those zombies distracting the enemies. In fact, summon more zombies in the way. And just that we don't have that mammoth annoying us. So you go up here, please. Oh, or maybe not. Well... no, I still don't like that. Go here. And then, did I send you in? Okay, I did, but there are so many units up there that's not going to help. Okay, you can go up there, you can keep positioning yourself. You have taken a little bit of damage on one of these units, but they're up on top of the walls and thus cannot be healed. Let's turn your auto-fire off and have you directly target certain units. Give you Vanguard or Guard so that you don't move forward unnecessarily. Alright, I know I said I was going to speed this up, but... I also want to avoid casualties to some degree, so we're just going to have to deal. You go here. You are fine as you are. Like so. Alright, keep firing and doing whatever you're doing. Distract that mammoth. You stay back. Both of you stay back. I don't want you to get attacked by the mammoth here. Oh, they have a second mammoth? Oh, that's the Marauder Chieftain who's on mammoth back. I didn't even realize that. Well, good job to them. Can we clear out some jerks? Yeah, let's clear them out. I don't know, clear the ranged ones out, clear the melee ones out. These guys are kind of blocking the gate, which is kind of annoying. Nah, it'd probably speed up if we do it here, wouldn't it? Yeah, go for it. This thing doesn't damage us as far as I can tell, so we can safely use that here. Alright, you guys keep firing down below. Let's summon more zombies to block these guys up while we get our melee or our hybrid units firing in range. Hey, you guys stay up there, and I'd love to heal you, but we can't do it right now. Let's activate all hands away to do damage, and activate your Forbidden Rod to heal things up. Alright, Wrath of Aminar is doing reasonably well. It's a cool-looking spell, if nothing else. And we are nearly through this pile of Marauder champions, finally. Man, it's taking a lot of gunfire to bring down that damn mammoth. Are you firing at the mammoth? I'm just curious here. You've been firing for a while now. 13 kills, 2,000 damage only. And it's a little bit disappointing. 161 kills and 29,000 damage. Yeah, there have been a few comments saying that these guys are range units, but are they? 2,700 compared to what these guys have done. And these guys just got another 1,000 out of a couple of volleys, and just about 2,000. I think these guys' stats haven't been buffed enough for SFO. Or they are, in fact, as I suspected, melee support units just happen to have a hybrid range ability. It doesn't seem to offer all that much. Anyway, not that it matters all that much. I still appreciate the extra units. And how are we doing out here? Okay, you've started to take quite a bit of damage. Let us see about... I was going to activate this thing. But anyway. I'd like to get you guys off the walls, the most damaged units. And then you can get off the walls as well. Because I'd like to heal you up with a nice invocation and a heck. And frankly, wait. Surround this unit. See how you do there. And there is still a unit of Marauder champions fighting. Oh! This is a captain unit. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's buff everybody up who's still fighting. I'm going to speed this back up in a few seconds. Because there's nothing really that the enemy can do. Okay, I would like for this mammoth to move towards us, though. Let's see if we can't fire upon it with at least a couple of our cannons. Anyway, speed this up to max. See if we can't get another decent little fight going. Where the heck are you guys going? You were told to come here. Go over there, please. Alrighty, and the enemy's still kind of refusing to move towards us. Let's overcast you. Alright, these guys are healing. Alright, fine. Summon zombos there. Alright, fine, go forward. No choice in the matter. Mammoth refuses, or Chieftain. Yeah, whatever. Chieftain refuses to move towards us, as well as some of those other units. And there we go. As soon as we move towards him, he'll break, and the battle will be ours. Definitely feels like it should have been auto-resolvable, but what can you do? 14 losses, and frankly, if I had not been lazy, we could have waited at the end of the battle to heal up some of the units that were damaged and gotten them to full HP. Well, these guys still managed to get 53 kills, only 7,900 damage though. Still feels a little bit lackluster. I do, however, think that the frostbite that they provide will be very, very nice for us. As soon as we get that planned, as soon as we get that planned handgun army up and running, hand cannon army rather. Hand cannons and these guys plus Wraith Storms, I want to see if we can't get enemy movement speed down to 0 effectively. That would be fantastic. The damage these guys do will not matter at all if they can add enough slow to make the enemy not able to move. We just gotta make sure that we have enough of them. Firing at enough enemies at any rate. Alright, and there we go. We'll set up another cove here. There we are. And let's see, income from post-battle loot for Airy, good for him. And we will go for another Pirate's Rest here. Alright, and encamp. Beautiful, you'll be essentially at full HP. I guess we'll head to Castle Longhi next. We've got Cove, 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 Cove. Airy has certainly set up a fair number of them. And at some point we might switch some of them to income generation because we might actually have to. I would like that to be after we get to the point where we can get heroes up at like rank 30 or something like that, rather than what we currently have. It would be real nice. But anyway, I believe that was the last thing that we needed to move unless I'm mistaken. So let's double check the... Okay, we did the building. Let's double check Diplo. That's what I forgot. Alright. Rats want to be friends. Serpent's Harem and Corsairs of Spite alike both want to trade. Well, let's do Serpent's Harem. Like so. They'll give us some money for it as well. And do you still want to trade Corsairs of Spite? You sure do. Go for it. And what about the Worshippers of the Worm? Okay, now it's 3.5. It was 0.5 before, but it ain't anymore. Clan Scar still no on the defensive agreement, but that might change. 52 Svengarlings, eh? How much money would you offer us for this? Out of curiosity. 12k? We'll take it. Peace. We're big believers in peace when we get a lot of money. Remos, you will also be wanting to do this. How much money? Basically none. Okay, now you're too poor to peace out with, unfortunate as that may seem for you. We'll see if this guy attacks us, and for now, we will end the turn. Skip, skip, end turn. Alright, now I'm curious, where did the second sea shanty guys go? Okay, Seafarer, and they're still moving this way. I guess we might have to send Charlie Wake after them after all. I was gonna do Bilbali and stuff. I guess we can come back to it. Let's see. You guys can reach all the way to here, can't you? Alright, Charlie Wake, go right here. And we'll see what we've got. These guys do have the extra range now, so 239, a lot better. So assuming that these guys don't have like a gigantic pile of artillery, we should be okay. I mean, we'll level up before fighting them. I was going to do it right now, but it's not crazy relevant. Minus 10k per turn now. Alright, now we do have that Balthazar Gelt thing that we wanted to do. Where is he? Is he still where he was before? Still around here, right? Well, we were going to set up a cove at these locations anyway, so let's move to the Citadel of Myrmidia, and then we can travel on land first, and then go via the coastline after. At least that's the plan. Alright, plan of the Citadel of Myrmidia. Ooh, sack value is pretty high, too. We'll auto-resolve... It's not a bad army, but we'll auto-resolve this. And we will still... we get half as much, but we'll still establish the cove. And don't move too far, Noctilus. Can you raid? No, you have to encamp. Fair enough. Alright. Sam Thorpe Pirate Cove established. Get another one of these. Well, that's actually a decent money-generating location by the looks of it. It was better before we sacked it, but what can you do? Yeah, maybe. How much money will this generate? Income from local settlements, income 50%. Fair enough. 310 versus 391, so we'll get eventually more from Picaroon's side. Alright, go for it. We're gonna need some, and I'll take a look at our other coves and see if there are any others that are generating decent amounts of cash, such that if we need to switch, we'll switch there. Alright, next up, tech. What were we gonna do next? Could go for that spell, the Necromancer's Apprentice. I'm gonna say maybe Control. Actually, you know what? Let's get to this. Let's get silver musket balls and cutlasses. A bonus versus infantry for melee units and range units, in case that, for the rare occasions that they actually need to use them. I do also like the ammunition for these guys, but I think we'll prioritize that. Anyway, Airy, your turn again, sir. And you're really missing that last unit. Now, there's probably still a heck of a lot of coastline here. I think maybe we... I mean, do we keep going for them? He's been having a lot of fun, admittedly. I won't deny it. It's just that there are a lot of things here. Oh, wow. Would you be able to win this? I don't know, but I am interested in finding out. Let's keep you in raiding stance, get a little bit of cash flow here, and we'll besiege Castle Longhi next turn. And see what we can do. I don't think that they can attack us, but just in case, how many points we have? Ah, we have the 1 point again. It doesn't matter so much. Stay there. Raise a... oh, it's an enemy territory. Ooh, we could raise one of the fancy bloated corpses, but I really wish they weren't so insanely expensive. 2.5k. Maybe not. Since we're saving our cash. Maddie, you are going to besiege... what are you doing here? You don't like us. And you won't like us even more after what, after we raise... oh, for the love of... okay, that one I'll probably do between the episodes. That one's being silly. Two does. You're going for Doomglade Swamp next. Just sacking our way through these guys' territories. See if this one's auto-resolvable, and it is also not. We've essentially fought this one before. I think it might be a waste of time. I might do it between the episodes as well. Screw it. Burke Black. I don't want to waste time on battles that are essentially, you know, done already. You are going to sack Verdanos and then continue moving northward, and then just cross over to the other side. Closer to Skavenblight. Auto-resolve. Oh, I just realized crossing over to the other side, and I don't mean die. In a second. Will mean... hey, that's fine. Talisman of Preservation will mean that you'll be further from getting your other big crabs, but I think we don't have much of a choice in the matter. So we're probably going to have to do so. And we'll just have somebody from Noctilus's army ferry them over once built. It's not a huge concern, but it is a concern. Admittedly, Cat Sharp, you're going this way. And we may as well move Marianne Oxenfurt as well until we're ready to replace you in 2 turns. Alrighty. Sam the Clotter. You're moving southward. Ah, no, I lied. You're moving towards this island, and then you're moving southward. 38 melee defense. I mean, it's decent, right? And then you guys, you were all supposed to move to Maddie. Now, oh, you know what? This is probably a good time. Wait, are you in range? You are. Are you in range? You are not. All right, so you'll be able to move 2. Let's get rid of 2 of the animated hulks. And they were never supposed to be in this army. And I'm hoping that this plan works out with all of the gunnery wights. Give them all pyromaniac, put them all on crabs. They will act as tanks and they'll still be able to apply fire damage, fire weakness, and chuck bombs at people. Yeah, and then 5 might be a little bit much, but it's too late. The 5th one is supposed to replace the Salt Lord Scuttlers, and if we can get a couple of Hydras in here, I think that might be nice as well. I assume this is still not auto-resolvable? Huh. Well, it's no longer killing these guys, but it is now killing the Altars of the Abyss, which frankly aren't crazy useful in this army, but still possibly useful enough for our purposes. Yeah, we'll deal with these after. Alright, that's Maddie, who is still movable. Okay, all the treasure hunters, the treasure seekers, all that sort of stuff. I think with that, then, I'm going to call the episode here. There are these 2 little minor battles to do where we can't auto-resolve, but the game is being silly about it, so I'll just do those between the episodes because they're kind of a waste of time. And next time, we will fight the 2nd Sea Shantyverse and the super elite army that Pharaon Wavemaker is likely to have with Charlie Wake. Hopefully she can pull it off. She did pull off the first one, and it remains to be seen whether we can do the second. We will move these guys through the sea lanes, and these guys will travel up north to Albion, while we do a little bit of Bretonnian fighting with Ariane Stand, who just got kind of stuck here, but hey, he's been having a pretty fun time doing so, while Noctilus looks to hunt down Balthazar Guilt, and then leave this particular coast as we've set up the coves in nearly everywhere, and we might ignore Gorbad. I'm wondering whether we could do a Ragnarok plus a Rotting Leviathan army. Might be a little bit much and too strong. Otherwise, there isn't really any Orca units that I think we're too keen on having, especially since they don't have gunpowder. Much more inclined to get Chaos Dwarf and Ogre and other vampire allies, which, speaking of, the only one that we found so far, Kemmler, still hates us. So we'll keep on heading inland until we find some more, and including to get to Sylvania. Plus, look at all these rivers. There's definitely some coves to be set up inland. And somebody in the comments did suggest we come down here and grab the Marienburg province for ourselves, which is it's certainly a possibility. Might be kind of neat. It would be a little bit annoying to have them constantly getting attacked, but if we set up an army here, they could just sit there. Island or not, but Albion is obviously going to be the priority here, especially since we can take advantage of the adjacency bonuses of buildings. Anyway, calling it here, more Noctilus to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.